G'day viewers, how are you? Welcome to TFU Friday. We've made it to the end of another week. Congratulations to you for soldiering on. I mean, for some of us it will have been easier than for others. But even if you feel like things have been shit and you've had those moments where you can't conceive of going on, where things seem pointless, you're still here. And I think that makes you a legend. Celebrate the wins. You're here. You're at the end of another week. You're pretty fantastic, quite honestly. But this is where we talk about things that are fucked up. So not you, dear viewer, the world at large. And whiskey in hand, my wordy, there's some fucked up shit to choose from. I think way top of the list is the impending disaster of US military intervention with Iran, aka war. Now, there are some sick, fucked up freaks in administration and positions of influence in the US who've been jockeying for military action on Iran for a very long time, even though it makes no sense whatsoever. And this all escalated to quite a considerable degree this week when two oil tankers were attacked by somebody. The US, with no evidence whatsoever, said it was definitely, completely Iran at fault. Iran point blank denied this. The Saudis have said, it's fucking Iran, let's fucking snot them. The whole thing is so strange. If you're a balanced, rational person, you basically can't take any position without it coming across as you're indulging in weird conspiracies. Because even the most straightforward, these tankers were going through the Straits of Hormuz, which Iran says they own and control, and they have said if the US doesn't fuck off with sanctions stopping Iran from selling oil, they'll stop any oil from being shipped through the Straits of Hormuz. And so if it was Iran, even though they're denying it, if it was them, that means they are willing to escalate things to the point of, well, getting bombed into the fucking Stone Age, basically, which makes no sense. So it really sounds like some unhinged conspiracy if you were saying that Iran would do something like this and deny involvement but still expose themselves to this retaliation. Another thing that also makes you sound like you're spouting conspiracies is the US is talking utter shit. They have no evidence whatsoever to back their claims. This is just another one of these weird expeditionary things into an oil-rich land that's going to fuck up, blow up in the US's face, cost trillions of dollars and thousands of US lives. They don't care about Iranian lives. They literally don't care. They don't care that they killed 1 million Iraqi civilians in the Iraq invasion. And they do not care how many Iranians die because of sanctions. They do not care how many Iranians may die because of military action. And let's be honest, when you look at what's happened, they don't give a flying fuck about how many US service people die in the service of these bullshit actions. But again, it sounds like you're pushing a conspiracy. No, the US is faking it. It's false flag. They've done it in the past. We know it's not true. Bush went to war on fake pretenses in Iraq, which is an absolute categorical fact. Obama just expanded the whole thing with drone strikes throughout the Middle East. And now Trump is saying he's going to go to war with Iran for no good reason. Incidentally, one of the more interesting things about this to me is it's like the last justification for voting for Trump or supporting for Trump out the window. Sans, if you're just simply going to admit you're a hideous, bigoted bag of shit and you like Trump because he's a hideous, bigoted bag of shit and you feel like he gives you carte blanche to just be your hideous fucking bigoted self. Because there were all these people who claimed they weren't bigoted, they weren't homophobic, they weren't anti-Islam, they weren't racist, but Trump was the only one who would not get US involved in foreign wars. Clinton was all about the war. She was part of the machine. Not completely without validity saying that about Clinton, by the way. But no, Trump was 100% opposed to US intervention overseas. Last fucking excuse out the windows, you cunts. And I use that term advisedly. The only reason you have left to support Trump is you're a hideous, fucking bigoted, shitbag, worthless, fucking filth monster. Okay? Just fucking embrace it and stop with the fucking lies, you cunts. But yeah, so Trump and his cronies seem very much wanting to do this. And again, it's slightly hard to say, I think it's a false flag, without sounding like you're a conspiracy. And say, what's another possible thing? The Saudis are actually behind it. The Saudis actually fired missiles at these tankers, and because they want justification for going after Iran, because they know the US will just say it was Iran no matter what. The US doesn't need any evidence to do that. So if the Saudis provoke a conflict, they believe it will work in their favour and increase their power in the Middle East. But again, you sound like a conspiracy nut if you push that. I look at this and go, no matter what is happening, it is a little difficult to push any narrative without sounding a little bit crazy. And I think that's just an accurate summary of the human condition. That sums up what humans are like. Trying to apply any sort of logic or sense to what humans do fundamentally fails, because humans do stupid, self-destructive shit all the time. I mean, on a slightly less warlike note, but no less fucked up, there was a couple of interesting things. Given that it's Pride Month at the moment, it was slightly odd, or maybe deliberately provocative, that the Vatican chose to release a paper that's basically denied the entire concept of transgender identity. Said, no, there's definitely only male and female. And that's because the invisible magic man in the sky says so. It's totally weird, because science doesn't support this. Any study of human history and society doesn't support this. At various times, the degree of acceptance of non-binary or transgender identity has fluctuated up and down. But you look through history on a social level, there are repeated examples of the recognition of the simple gender binary not being all there is to it. Science doesn't support it. All these people start going on about chromosomes and whatnot, like, get fucked. Talk to an actual geneticist. The bullshit you're saying is not supported by science. So the Vatican's gone with magic man in the sky says so, which is an absolutely ace reason to be a fucking bigot. But, I mean, honestly, I don't expect any better from the Catholic Church. I get weirded out when people think, look at Pope Francis. He says all these progressive things. He's awesome. He is the head of the biggest fucking child sexual abuse ring on the fucking planet, okay? And he might have eventually, occasionally speak up and go, gee, that's bad, isn't it? But you're not fucking sending people out for prosecution, are you? You're not sending decrees that say, priests cannot protect other priests. The sanctity of the confessional be damned. If someone is a fucking sex abuser, you shop them to the cops. No. So I personally am not even mildly surprised when good old progressive Pope Francis backs some ridiculous bullshit like this, particularly during Pride Month. But it's not even the dumbest thing I've seen from religious extremists, and this one is far to the loony right of the Catholic Church, even an evangelical from America, a guy called Rick Wiles. He's part of a group called TrueNews.com, and doesn't that just tell you what's happening when someone asserts something like that, saying, oh, hey, I'm a Christian fundamentalist from a site called TrueNews.com. That to me is like tin pot dictatorship who declare their country is the Democratic Republic of. Look, you can write it down. You can say you're the Democratic Republic of. You can say you are True News, but it's basically just saying in great big 100-foot high neon letters, not actually what we are. Democratic Republic of Congo, not Republic. People's Democratic Republic of North Korea, not democratic. True News, neither true nor news. But this guy, I kind of like this guy just because he's not throwing hate on oppressed minorities, racial minorities, or the LGBTI community. He's just gone and you know what I'm going to go on? Lab meat. If you've never heard of this concept, I'm surprised. But there is a concept. People are trying to essentially genetically engineer lab meat. Like they're meat, something that's absolutely indistinguishable from meat, but it's grown in a lab rather than being cut off an animal. One of the popular ones that's under research has been called Impossible Burger. But the idea is it's going to be meat. It's going to be meat in every way, but no animal died for it. And I think even PETA are on board with lab-grown meat. Personally, I think our future, when the great fucking extinction happens and even cows and horses and sheep are all dead, our future is eating bugs and plankton and algae. But maybe lab-grown meat will be a thing in the future. I'd be willing to experiment it, but not this dude from True News. Because what he has decided is this is a plot. He believes this lab-grown meat is designed to change human DNA to remove our souls. Yes, he thinks this is a plot to actually create soulless beings on the earth. So no one can be born again because no one has a soul. The lab meat will take your soul away. And this is a perfectly sensible and not at all fucking mental thing to say on a number of levels. It's like changing your DNA by eating something? I mean, can a geneticist out there tell me? Like, even if you eat uranium, is that changing your DNA? I don't know. But the idea that lab meat is a conspiracy to eradicate Christianity by removing everyone's soul. I mean, that's special. This guy has a special place in my heart for coming up with something that is truly unbalanced and unhinged and straight up fucking stupid, but different to all the other stupid, unhinged, unbalanced bullshit these ridiculous evangelicals have come up with. If you'd have asked me, have the evangelicals said the stupidest shit they will ever say, I would have said yes. And then this bloke says lab-grown meat is a plot to stop anyone from ever being born again by creating a race of soulless creatures on the face of the earth. Well, fucking good on you, buddy, for subverting my expectations just by being an even stupider fuckwit than I thought was possible. You are fucking epic, quite honestly. Oh my god, after all that, I feel like I want to end on something that's a bit more... It is still fucked up, but it's funny and weird. Like Australia, wildlife. Whenever you think of Australian wildlife, you think things that'll kill you. The spiders, the snakes, the crocodiles, the sharks. All real, all trying to kill you. But we have lots of cute wildlife that also has weird behaviour. Kangaroos, aren't they great? Horny as fuck and dangerous as well, just by the way, with kangaroos. I've posted videos before of kangaroos I've seen in the wild, and the males just have these incredibly weird flexy penises that they will occasionally just flex out. They're not having sex. There's not a female. They're just going, check out what I've got. Kangaroos are weird as fuck. And you get especially these western reds that are jacked as fuck. When they rear right up, they can be 2 meters plus tall, and they are just fucking ripped. You might think kangaroos are cute. They're actually potentially incredibly scary. But also, kookaburras. I love kookaburras. A lot of people gloss over the fact that a significant majority of birds are actually carnivorous. They may not eat a lot of meat, but all birds... Well, actually, I won't say all birds. I think most birds, someone who knows ornithology better can explain to me, but I think most, if not all birds, can eat meat. Like even comparatively innocent things like pigeons and sparrows and shit. And in Australia we have magpies, meat eaters, and kookaburras are big meat eaters. I love kookaburras. They're really cute. They're very interesting birds and whatnot. But they have some weird behaviour. And there's a story this week in Australia of 2 super horny kookaburras. And as a news report called them, Randy Kookaburras, which I think is a great fucking name for drag. Who are you? I'm the Australian drag queen, Randy Kookaburra. Personally, I can see myself doing that, being Randy Kookaburra. But this is apparently a true story. In Western Australia, 2 kookaburras who are hanging out in power lines, birds hanging out in power lines, Randy's hell, start fucking on the power lines, get a bit carried away, touch something they shouldn't have, and zap pow. Someone was actually walking past when this happened. He said he saw the kookaburras being very noisy and going for it, and then there were 2 sort of blue flashes, zap pow, and they took out the power to about 1,000 homes from touching something they shouldn't. Now, the kookaburras, unfortunately, dead. I'm not even going to show you the picture. Look, I'll put a link if you want to see dead kookaburras. Sadly, this new story actually shows the dead kookaburras. But, I mean, at least they died doing what they loved, assuming what they loved was fucking on power lines. But, you know, that's Australia. One day, you're a laughing kookaburra. Next day, you're fucking on the power lines and you're dead. I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, make sure you subscribed so you don't miss my next video, because I do a lot of them. Jump in with a comment on this video or let me know what you'd like me to do in another video, and hit me up on the various social media as well. Your support means a lot, so if you tell other people about the videos, that is one of the most positive things you can do to support me. Just share the video with your friends, put it on your social media and tell them they should subscribe and join in. Or remember this easy song. Subscribe to AngryAussie and share this with your friends.